All right, folks, the Democrats are eating their own, and it happened on on mainstream media this weekend. All right, their base is getting more comfortable with socialism, but the rest of the country isn't buying it. Jeffries is backing away from the DSA agenda. AOC is trying to clean up her old woke rhetoric. Mamdani is doubling down. And Gretchen Whitmer is out here giving Trump props for getting something done for Michigan that Biden couldn't. All right. So stay with us to the end because the last video is going to have everybody talking. All right. It's back to school season. And before we start blaming teachers for everything, we need to ask a harder question. What are some parents teaching their kids before they even walk into a classroom? All right. Take a look at this Hakeem Jeffries clip. This is clip 2.
I think, though, that there is room in the Democratic Party, under the tent of the Democratic Party for Democratic Socialists. Is it big enough?
Well, listen, I don't support the DSA agenda as has been articulated by the DSA itself. Now, you're going to have individual members who have been elected in Democratic primaries, and if they are elected in the general in November, will be part of the House Democratic Caucus. It's going to be a broad caucus. There will be progressives, there will be New Dems, there will be Blue Dogs. What I'm excited about are the candidates who are running to flip seats in November to deliver us a majority that pushes back against Donald Trump's extremism and moves the country in the right direction. That means us, House Democrats, lowering the high cost of living in areas like groceries and gas and, of course, housing, and fighting to make health care affordable for every single American, while at the same period of time pushing back against the corruption that has been unleashed on the American people and holding the crooks accountable beginning on day one in January of next year.
All right, you heard him. He said he wants nothing to do with the DSA agenda. This is what he's saying. All right, before we respond, this is AOC pretty much saying something similar. This is clip 7.
To win the Senate, so I've been focused on those legislative races.
What do you make of those controversial statements? I'm sure you've seen. I mean, she's, the Thanksgiving dust up. She says she doesn't, still believe that, but, the abolished prisons, abolished police, which is also positions that have been taken by a lot of the progressive candidates who have won. How do you get around that? I mean, those are not positions that are supported by
right. I mean, I think that a lot of these races, even right now, they'll have a tendency to be nationalized.
Yeah.
But these races ultimately are local, and all politics are local. My understanding is that Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her electorate.
Yeah, she's moved away from a lot of that.
Right, she's moved away from it. And I have a local city councilman that has this saying, woke one was crazy.
Woke one was crazy.
And I think that what's important is that we have to assess what
was it? I mean, did the movement go too far with some of those positions? I mean, you briefly supported the idea of defunding the police.
Well, I think that during this time and especially during COVID, there was a huge opening of the Overton window. We were shut down. There was some of the highest unemployment rates that we have seen because of those shutdowns.
Yeah.
And I think that the doors were really open in trying to entertain any and every policy that was going to get us to a better place. And I actually think that the discussions that were had in that time were quite fruitful. I think that when we talk about crime today, it's fundamentally different than the way that we talked about crime in bringing crime down, right? And I think that we all share in the goals of having as low a crime rate as possible. I think that, during lockdown, of course, rhetoric in that time is not rhetoric that we would use today. And I'm grateful that these candidates have the opportunity to present who they are to their electorate and what they're campaigning on in this moment.
Wow. It was fruitful in that time. Abolish the police. take away the Green New Deal. Remember that? Take away our gas cars, take away our gas-powered lawnmowers, our ovens. I mean, abolish ICE, where they're still saying that tax rates out the wazoo. It was fruitful in that time, Nicole. What's going on?
She's an idiot. She is an unmitigated imbecile. We just spent 2 minutes of our lives we're never going to get back. Everybody's IQ has dropped at least 3 points just listening to that bullshit. It made no sense. So here's really bad spin. If you are a grassroots operative, if you are a fan of politics or Politico, and we talk about spin all the time, this is the way you do not spend. You don't spend by saying all politics are local. And then the guy I'm dating, oops, no, not the guy I'm dating, but this councilman friend of mine said, woke one. What the hell are we even talking about? What was the question, AOC? What was the question? It gets to a point where you spend so much you don't even remember. It is ridiculous. And here's this mainstream media just eating it up, just enjoying God bless you, every single bit of that foolishness. Where was the journalist? And I'm going, no. Focusing on the question that I asked you. That's very interesting. But the question that I asked is, no, they'll never get that. You know why? Because this woman's got just as much word salad as Kamala. Somebody passed the ranch. It's ridiculous over here.
Yeah, Shelly, I mean, do you believe her woke one was, now it's like where we've graduated from high school and we're the sophisticated, oh, that was way eons ago, woke one. Oh my God, did I say that? Yes, you did. Shelly, what are your thoughts?
Well, in as much as this was a word salad, I tried to pick out, the lettuce and the tomatoes and the cucumbers a little bit, right? So I could try to make sense of it. Now, she said that it was fruitful. I think it was fruitful to them. They were able to stir up and raise up, if you will, this generation of the DSAs that they have now. And so they did what they needed to do. The riots, the BLMers and the Antifas, all that. It stirred up the chaos, the defunding the police, okay? Mm-hmm. Not just defunding them, but abolishing police, period, okay? Nevertheless, the education, children's education went basically to zero, and if you will. So I think it was fruitful in that they were able to raise up the people that they are lauding now, the AOC types. So much confusion. Now, she also mentioned this Overton window. And again, this is why I say they believe it was fruitful, because they were able to shift the norms, if you will, mostly to the left. They were able to shift them such that now we're in this place where, or certainly the DSAs are, or the Democratic Party is, where's normal? Where's normal? See, they love chaos. So it was fruitful for that reason. Again, under their standards, it was fruitful. What she's doing now, she's trying to, I'm going to say, maybe bring that Overton window, close it back a little bit to reset what normal is. So this is what the woke 2 is supposed to do. They're not necessarily getting rid of those policies that they advocated for. They're just going to present them a little more, quote unquote, normal.
Yeah. I think they're lying. I think they see the polling now within the Democrat Party. Polling is saying they are in favor more so for socialism than for capitalism. Okay, recent polls came out saying that. All right, but nationally, independents and conservatives don't want anything to do with socialism, and these folks know Hakeem Jeffries, AOC, who's planning to potentially run for president, know that this socialism, this woke one, is not a winning message for national politics. They will not win elections pushing socialism, pushing defund the police, the Green New Deal, abolish prisons, all of that crap. So what are they doing? They're pivoting. This is the major pivot. All right. They see that these socialist candidates are not doing well nationally. They may win a couple small city or big city elections, but they won't win independents and they won't win nationally. So they're pivoting, I call it lying, misinforming the public and saying, oh, that was eons ago, I don't believe that anymore. Now it's this and this. It's not abolish the police, it's not defund the police. And folks, we hope you do not fall for this. Please, for the love of God, do not fall for these lies. We saw it in Virginia with Abigail Spanberger. Mm-hmm. She did the exact same thing. Now that Virginia is going to hell in a handbasket. All right. Nicole, do you see what they're doing here with this wording, this messaging now?
Oh, absolutely. So Hakeem Jeffries' whole job is to herd the cats, right? Mm-hmm. And he's got some bare naked cats, and he's got some Siamese cats and some orange tabbies, and he's trying to get everybody to, as they keep saying, under the big tent. I never think of politics as a tent, more like a ballroom with doors that are open. Some people get to sit up front in the VIP, and then there are other people who have to sit next to the restroom. These are folks who should have been sitting next to the restroom, but now these are your VIP section. They're the only ones that can raise money in this party. Again, the party is broke. The only people raking in money are the candidates that support this DSA agenda. So he can't poo-poo it all together. He can say, I don't like the agenda as it currently exists, but smile in the face of AOC because she's the darling of that side of his party. He has to figure out how to walk that line between these two things. Unfortunately for him, this is a really narrow line because two things can't be true at the same time, that either you love this country or you do not. Either you want police or you do not. Either you want a Senate or you do not. And the DSA has drawn a hard line. They didn't say, well, maybe we should consider. They said, we need to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. And they said it with their whole chest, and they followed it up with checks. Something that their quote unquote conservative part of their party cannot do. They simply cannot motivate their base. Their base is average Americans, and those average Americans are saying, I don't like this socialist stuff. I don't like it at all. I don't like this anti-American rhetoric. You won't get a dime out of it.
Yeah. I mean, Shelley, you would think that the media would call them out, say, okay, what you're saying now, you're not for this. Isn't that a flip-flop? That's what it used to be called back in the day, a flip-flop. I haven't heard that saying in a long time.
And you're not going to hear the media, very little of the media will actually say something and ask him like that. Look, this is what I'm going to chum it up to this. What they're doing now under this woke 2 is really, George Orwell called it in the book 1984, is newspeak. Mm-hmm. Newspeak. They're twisting, or they're going to repackage the language. Again, they're not getting rid of their ideas to abolish or defund the police. They're going to package it a little differently. They're going to claim that they are meeting the needs of communities and the people of America, while they package it in this language that really no one is going to say, well, what does this mean? The media is certainly not going to do it. So your normie Americans, we're going to have to do it and call them out on it. So again, don't be caught up in what they call it. Be caught up in the act or the results of whatever it is that they are advocating for.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, we got to keep this on the front of minds, what they were advocating for. All right. AOC's 2018 campaign platform was about abolish ICE. She called them concentration camps. All right. In June 2019, she called for border detention facilities, concentration camps on her Instagram Live. I mean, the list goes on. Defund the police in summer 2020 with the whole post-George Floyd thing. She criticized New York City's proposed $1 billion NYPD cut as insufficient. All right. I mean, she continued to go on and on right up until probably about a couple months ago. Now she's distancing herself from all of this. And then we all know the Green New Deal as this economy-wide mobilization thing she did. She actually, I think she introduced a bill for that. I think she was part of the bill for that Green New Deal. And that was a net zero greenhouse gas emissions, 100% clean, renewable, zero emission power. I mean, overhaul transportation, manufacturing. I mean, the list goes on. She explicitly said she was going to scale back World War II Marshall Plan to Marshall Plan levels. I mean, it was ridiculous, the amount of stuff that she wanted to get rid of. All right. I mean, it just didn't even make sense for a post-industrialized economy. Okay. We got to make sure people remember this and don't fall for the pivot right now, the flip-flop, because she's doing it just so they can get elected. But Mamdani said, no, you won't. No, you won't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm DSA all the way, you know, and I'm going to continue pushing the Democrat socialist crap. He said, I don't care what the national politics say. Okay, here he is. As we mentioned, AOC and Hakeem Jeffries are trying to distance themselves from the DSA, and Mamdani is digging in harder. This is clip 5.
Republicans are going to make you the poster child for the Democratic Party.
Let them. We don't have to ask ourselves what life looks like if a socialist wins. I won last November, and over the course of these last 6 months, what we've delivered for working people are the very things we were told were impossible. We've delivered free childcare for 2-year-olds for the first time in New York City history. We've delivered tens of millions of dollars back to tenants who were taken advantage of by bad landlords. We've delivered 165,000 potholes being paved. And we've done all of these things while also delivering the lowest recorded crime in our city's history. That's what it looks like to have democratic socialism. And what you're seeing is that New Yorkers experienced this for 6 months and made the decision that they wanted to see more of it on the national stage as well.
Wow. You heard it, Nicole. What are your thoughts on that?
He has a very selective memory. I don't know who writes his talking points, but that person needs a raise. That person had to find something, because when remember when he was running, there was nothing about potholes in that platform. Said nothing about the potholes. No, wasn't that. It was free bus rides, tax the rich, taking over apartment buildings so the rent would be something that they could better control. You remember all of that, the free grocery stores for everybody in the city. Yeah. And he's touting potholes. Can I tell you that New York City has always filled its potholes, right? As we know, in the Mid-Atlantic, we get weather. And as Baltimore definitely knows, there are holes in the road and the roads have to be filled, or you can go ahead and build a city for the damage to your car from driving through said potholes. It is ridiculous to me that this man has reduced this city to filling potholes. And crime reduction, was there not just a person set ablaze on a subway? An alive person, not a dead person. A person who was asleep was set ablaze on a subway. That sounds criminal to me. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any socialist glasses to look through, but here with these old American eyes, I'm going to tell you, baby, that's not crime reduction. That's horrific. That's the stuff that nightmares are made of. He ought to do better. But again, the person who has to find those talking points for him, shout out to you for turning over every rock to find something that would be, that would get past the fact check. 165,000 potholes. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due. If this is what you want to call credit, okay. And Shelley, I want to get you in his campaign. He centered on freezing rents. He has started freezing rents. Universal child care, okay. He has started that. City-run grocery stores. He started that, okay. I mean, he's doing actually what he said he was going to do. Now the question is are these ideas, are these platforms, is this agenda really going to work? Is this going to make the city better? All right. As you mentioned, Nicole, he's also talked about letting out people in Rikers. That's not going to make the city better. We've seen a mass exodus from New York City due to the higher taxes on certain people. So that hasn't been the greatest thing, but he's done a lot of the stuff he said he was going to do. Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
I think we forget that socialism, communism, whatever other ism, if you will, particularly in the 20th century, we forget that there are over 100 million, by many estimates, if not more, dead bodies. Okay, we forget that those socialism, communism, they don't really care about dead bodies. They don't care about people being the recipients of their bad policies. They care about their policies being implemented, and damn the consequences. Certainly not the negative consequences that we would say are grossly negative. They don't care about that. So we have two worldviews clashing, if you will. That's number one. Number two, I would say that Mamdani, the Democratic Party is not going to shut Mamdani up. Number one, he won his election on the most important city in the world, certainly in America, right? The most important, the financial center. He won that election. So I would be cautious and let people know, don't necessarily listen to what the AOCs with this woke too and the Hakeem Jeffries are saying. Look at and listen to what Mamdani is saying, because he's doing exactly what they actually want to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that with him particularly in any of these socialist agendas, it's really about wait and see. Now, we have started to see some of the carnage, as you mentioned, Nicole, that his agenda is in fact putting on New York City, and people are suing him for it, as we've covered here extensively, from the government-run grocery stores to, the list goes on. To the he did something with the rent freeze. They're suing them on that. So there's a couple things, and we know that many of these things, like you mentioned, Shelley, are not new. They just have not worked in the past. All right. The rent freeze attacks the price without creating supply. All right. So New York City's official housing and vacancy survey found a rental vacancy rate of just 1.41%. That's the lowest since 1968. Among rent stabilized apartments, the vacancy rate was even lower, 0.98%. So there aren't even enough available apartments. So again, you can freeze the rent, you can hold a press conference about it, and you can declare victory like he's doing. But a rent freeze doesn't create one new apartment. All right. And landlords' expenses aren't frozen. That's the thing with this. So Mamdani is freezing one side of the ledger while everything on the other side keeps going up. This stuff doesn't work. We continue to talk about this. The government-run grocery stores, what do? They put small businesses out of the marketplace. Okay. So again, we've been talking about this stuff all week. Yeah, he can go on Meet the Press and they don't push back on him on this stuff, and he touts it as victories, when in actuality, the people in New York City are the ones that are going to be the losers. So, folks, sound off in the chat. We have a couple super chatters. Shelley, is that right?
Yeah. Hi, Kung Fu CJ. Kung Fu CJ with your $5. He says, Shelley, Nicole, bless out these people so I can sleep tonight. Kung Fu, I'm going to give you a recommendation. I think you need to get some Ambien. All right, sweet Caroline. I like that. Thank you for your $2. Thank you for your super chat tonight. Brown eyes. Oh my gosh, brown eyes.
Hey,
my eyes have been blue. Where have you been? Thank you for your $20. Hey, ladies, you ladies are so knowledgeable. I'm so proud to be your chat family. That's right. Don't keep making my brown eyes blue. Thank you for stopping by tonight, everybody. Everybody hit that like, share, and subscribe, and the notification bell out there. Go ahead and do it right now.
Absolutely, folks. And again, this is a movement, folks. We always talk about this. We are all God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. All right. And so this is a movement that we're proud of. And something you can do is wear the movement. What's up, everybody? This is Poppin' Politics. Get your merch. Are you a Poppin' Politics fan? Are you unapologetically American? Or not black, not white American? We got it all for you right here. Get your merch.
Get the classic shirt. Classic. Goes with everything, comes in a variety of colors. Smart, edgy, conservative, like us, like you. This is a great way to support the channel. Click the merch button.
There is no shame in being an American. Get your shirt today and be unapologetic about it. Get your shirt, wear it, and be a proud American.
You can get it all in t-shirts and hoodies. You can get it in stickers, on bags. You can get it all on our website, metroconservativemedia.com, or our YouTube page, Pop and Politics, and tag over to store. You can get your merch and show you're proud to be an American and support Pop and Politics. All right, there it is, folks. We love you guys. You have been really pouring into us, sewing into us, definitely supporting the channel with the merch. We've been getting your photos, seeing you guys wearing the merch. We love it. Please continue to send those in. We'll post them on our community YouTube page. But it's a great way to support the channel and wear the movement. All right, that's what it's all about. Great conversation pieces that we have here for you guys. And again, it's a great way to support the movement. All right, so when we talk about these DSA people, these DSA politicians, look, this is a real thing. I mean, this is going to be a real issue. And we're already seeing the ramifications of many of it. Here is the mayor of Minneapolis, and he's just casually announcing increases on property taxes. This is clip 4.
2027 budget proposal totals approximately $2.3 billion, including a general fund of $753 million. It proposes an 11.3% increase to the proposed tax levy, about $409 a year, or $34 a month for the median value homeowner. Second, we have cut 100 positions in our city government. But to be clear, we did not begin with layoffs.
Wow. I mean, this is bad news. An 11.3% increase in the city's property tax levy as part of a $2.3 billion budget. Shelley, what are your thoughts?
I think the people of Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is Jacob Fry, right? So right. I think the people, they're going to have to, I guess I'm going to say push back. That's number one. Let me say this. Property taxes, there's some discussion, I'll say, on social media now about property taxes in general being illegal. Okay, certainly, because once you pay for your property and you pay the taxes when you pay for it, why do you have to keep paying taxes on the same damn property? So it's sort of an incremental confiscation. All right, so we don't have the infrastructure, if you will, to even support the high taxes. By that, I mean, the infrastructure does not justify the taxes. We still have potholes, Mamdani. We still have poor schools. Our police departments are underfunded and they are understaffed. Okay, so all of these other infrastructural pieces that the social contract is supposed to have, they're not there. That's number two. But number three, let me say this. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. Dennis Prager. And you can apply that to any form, any level of government, local, state, federal, any department, bureaucracy. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. Soon, the government, Jacob Fry and anywhere else, they're going to basically tell you, we own your house again. We own your property again. It's not really yours. They can take it at any given, snap of their fingers, if you will. All they have to do is go in and quote unquote vote their city council, the state legislature, and say, hey, we're going to raise the property tax. But on the other side, we have to fudge the numbers and say that your property is assessed now at a higher value. And so that's how they justify it. This is nothing but incremental confiscation. The bigger the government, the smaller the citizen. You will own nothing and be happy.
Yeah. And Nicole, they're calling this the largest levy increase in recent memory. And they're saying that it's due to a structural gap. Well, why is there a structural gap in Minneapolis? Is it because we got all this Somali fraud?
Listen,
they're ripping off the government.
If he were looking to find money instead of letting people go, those 100 people who lost their jobs, man, he could go to Little Mogadishu and get a lot of his money back. He could go to Kenya to those vacation homes and recoup a whole lot of money. And I think there should have been 101 jobs removed, specifically his.
Mm-hmm.
His head should be on a stick. Do you hear me? 11.3%. When you think about the founding of our nation, when you think about the Boston Tea Party, just the ire of early Americans at the thought of having to pay more for less or the same, right? So they do what they do here in Maryland. Oh, we're not going to raise your property tax. We're just going to assess the home that you've lived in and did not improve at a higher rate. But you're too dumb to figure that out. Just keep voting for us and we'll issue you some happiness. We're going to give you $12 back on your electric bill. Everybody in the streets and party. In the meantime, your property tax then went up $1,200. You can barely afford your mortgage. You're skimming by on your mortgage and you're wondering why, but you keep voting the same damn way. Well, I don't really know the people on the bottom of the ticket. So I'm just going to vote for all the Democrats. And then you wonder how this happens to you. This is how it happens. I tell you guys all the time, you have to vote the entire ticket, not just the top, not just the well-known people, because the top and the well-known people have very little control over your life. It is your county council. It is your county commissioners, the people that they appoint to these positions. They have so much control over your life. You think I'm joking? You think I'm being hyperbolic? Miss one of those tax payments. It'll be one of those appointed people that come and tell you that your home that you've been paying for years is now up for a tax sale. Yeah, a lot of control of people you don't know. We have got to get smarter as an electorate. The people who live in Little Mogadishu, because that's what I'm calling Minneapolis now, shame on you. You deserve every bit of that 11.3%. I hope you choke on it.
Yeah. And another thing that we're seeing happening here, and not just here, but in all these Democrat-run cities, is the residential owners are expected to bear a disproportionate share because commercial values have fallen. You know, the businesses are moving out of these areas. So they have no other means to collect this money. And so what do? What does a Democrat do? They move to the next man on the totem pole, which are the residents. Okay, now they try to say that this is about the rich and stuff, but it's not. Usually, everyday Americans are getting this. They're calling it. I think it's going to be an additional $434 or so a year. Folks, I want people to sound off in the chat. How many of you have had this happen where you get the mail and you get your insurance bill and you see it's gone up quite a bit? And he was like, what in the world? I haven't gotten any accidents. What is going on? Why is my insurance going up this high? You call the insurance company and they say, well, it's not us. You know, we haven't changed anything. Oh, I see. Your mortgage went up. And it's the taxes. It's the taxes. When that happens, and it has happened a little bit, I want to knock somebody's ass out.
Oh, God! Wow! Devastation!
Yeah. That's what I feel like doing. Because it's not anything you've done. You've paid your bills on time. You know, you've been cutting your lawn. You've been keeping your street clean. You know, you've been working, overtime and you trying to make ends meet, working extra, making sure you thinking you may got a little bit for something else. And they didn't took that too. Took that too.
Yep.
It's infuriating. Shelley.
Yeah, I want to say something, not a personal story, but a story that probably many of us can relate to. This is also why you see in some, let's say some houses, a person may improve their house, like you said, Nicole, right? They may do some improvements or maybe build a deck or, whatever, a new front porch.
Right.
But guess what? They don't use people who are licensed because those people who are licensed have to report it to the state. So they're trying to save money and still do the right thing by improving their home, the things that, the things around their home. So they use maybe a lesser competent person or whatever the case may be, just so that their improvements are not legitimately on the book, because all those improvements go down to the state assessment office, and that's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. So it's, as again, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Again, stop. Nicole said it. You have to vote up and down the ticket. Stop voting for people who sound good. Westmore, Jacob Fry, Mamdani, and the rest of these nuts. Okay, they do not give a damn about your economic well-being, your family well-being. What they care about is remaining in power, getting more power, and making sure that you have none. But I want to just show you these little tea bags to remember an important moment in our history, okay? An important moment in our history. This little thing right here caused what we call the United States of America, okay? What we have now. It took this, a tax on the tea, okay? Upset the whole damn thing. When are we going to upset the whole damn thing to take the rightful power that we have been bestowed, and we had an obligation, not just a right, we have an obligation to ensure that we can keep passing this down, this thing that we call America, this exceptionalism to prosperity for our children, our grandchildren, and our grandchildren's children. This little thing, go get you some. Go get you some and tie it around your rearview mirror, just as a reminder. This is what we need.
Yeah. And it's not, folks. It's not just Minneapolis, all right? We're talking about governors, too, here in Maryland. Westmore in the 2025 session, all right, he signed a fiscal 2026 budget package that contained more than $1.6 billion in new taxes and fees, new higher state income tax brackets, capital gains surcharge, new 3% sales tax on data and IT services. You guys pay attention, because these people are eventually going to run for higher office. So you got this Minneapolis mayor. He's not the only one. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. She increased residential property taxes. She set it to rise to 13.6 starting this year. It started in January. Okay. St. Paul, they proposed a 6.8% property tax. Okay, increase this August. This just happened. New York City, we talked about him. He's taxing everybody. He's taxing everything but your drawers. All right. So I mean, it goes on and on. Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, he proposed for direct city levy hikes. But the city council rejected them. All right, there at least. But roughly a $500 million shift toward residential properties. So looks like he was still trying to push through a property tax. It's all over these cities. They're all over. When these Democrats, when they don't create anything, they don't innovate anything, they want to tax us to create wealth. Right, Nicole?
Absolutely. We are a never-ending supply of money. Never-ending supply. Because what are you going to do? Not pay them? Get locked up? Is that the plan? Because the truth of the matter is, Americans learn to live around poor policy. That's what we do. We learn to live around poor policy. Perfect example here in Maryland, when Westmore and his Democrat majority decided that they were going to increase the cost of registering your car here in the state of Maryland to almost 4 times, 5 times what it was. It's like $300 some dollars in loose change. Now, the same registration in Virginia is like $40. The number of Marylanders who have Virginia tags is so very high that they had a whole press conference saying, Marylanders, it's illegal. You can't have Virginia tags if you live in the state of Maryland. They have billboards up all over the place. They've got state police sneaking around. They've got a snitch line. You call on your ex. Be like, that bum lives here in Maryland. He's got Virginia tags. And they're going to stick it to them like nobody's business. There's going to be penalties, criminal fees. I mean, all of these things, because the people have decided that tax is too much to bear. That tax is too much to bear. So we're going to find a way around it. We'll register the car in Virginia, right? Well, what happens when you can't find a way around it anymore? What happens when we hit that center mass, right? Where poor policy and people's decision making come to a head. What do we do then? Sounds like revolution to me, folks. Sounds like revolution to me. We've got to make some wholesale changes on the thought process that our elected officials who's supposed to represent us think of us as permanent ATMs. Just raise the number. It doesn't matter. Raise the taxes. They'll work harder. We'll take more money. Because here in Maryland, you should anticipate less paycheck. They're starting this new family act. It starts the beginning of next year, where they're going to take money out your paycheck before you even get it, so that people can take months off.
And add in today, Nicole, as far as Maryland, the digital tax that they were told was illegal, the court struck it down in Maryland, right?
Yeah.
But that digital tax is supposed to be funding, of course, everything's supposed to fund the blueprint. It's never funded, right? But that tax is supposed to fund the blueprint. So now that they cannot do it, of course they're going to appeal this decision. But right now they can't do it, where do you think they're going to get that what do you call a structural gap from? Where are they going to fill it up from?
Oh, listen, he lost me. Listen,
from taxpayers.
He's going to shake us by our ankles yet again. Make no mistake. He'll figure out a way and be charitable with Marylanders' money. You know, in Washington, D.C., they had those kids who were supposed to be going to Howard, and something happened where they needed more money.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, no, Maryland will help you.
Yes.
Yes. They're upside down.
Yes.
Marylanders can't even register their car in this state. And you're going to be, out here with this largesse on our backs.
Yes. Oh, you know why he did it, though? Because Howard is an HBCU. Yes. He had all these black women on news and stuff crying because they couldn't, their stuff wasn't coming up. Financial aid wasn't coming up. So what do you say? You have him coming in. He knows this is going to look like it's a great gesture, and in reality, he's taking our tax-paying money and he's going to tax us more out of it.
Absolutely.
Maryland has its own HBCUs with kids who are barely scraping by. You want to see? Go over to the Cookout in Salisbury, and you'll see the University of Maryland Eastern Shore students over there, working at CVS, working at Walgreens, working at pizza places to make their tuition. Man, they should have maybe went to Howard. They should have taken those dollars that they're paying our state schools and took it to DC to go to Howard. Maybe, just maybe, the governor then would be a helping hand to them. And
yeah, says, but everybody goes to, these Democrats are all at Howard during election time. They know they want to get these college students votes. And so that's why, and the sad part about it is black folks, they don't even look at it this way. They feel like, oh, he said he's going to help Howard students. Oh, my gosh. And the new Hillman is coming on, right? Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. Yeah. And the whole while, these Democrats are looking at us and they're... That's what they're doing. They're laughing at us.
Over him.
All the way to the bank. We got some super chats here, folks. Thank you all so much.
Brown Eyes, you're back. Brown Eyes says, I'm a housing provider. KJ, you're telling the truth. Our insurance, mortgage, labor, materials, and taxes are not frozen.
Not at all.
Not. Laura, hi, Laura. Thank you for your $10. Seattle is waking up. They are calling for a recall of that idiot they voted for mayor. Maybe they will start a chain reaction. Hope so. Kung Fu CJ is back again. Thank you. KJ wants to lay hands, family.
Oh yeah. But Laura, you're right. People hopefully are waking up. We pray they are. And that takes us to the next story of this socialist mayor that has gotten a formal recall effort against her in Seattle. Mayor Katie Wilson was launched in August 26th. So this month, somebody has put forth a formal recall, and of course they're going crazy about it. This is clip one.
For example, fed-up residents have started the recall process against their socialist mayor. Katie Wilson was elected less than a year ago, also becoming one of the first openly socialist politicians who actually lead a major American city. The group behind the recall effort says Wilson's policies have failed, turning their city, they say, into an embarrassment. This comes after several major controversies, including the response to a gang-related shooting during a popular food festival in the heart of the city. The National News Desk, Jeremy Harris reports.
I've taken heat in my life before. I'm ready for it. Somebody had to do it.
Melinda Jacobson knows it will be a tough process.
It's not political gainship at all. It's what the city needs.
But she believes she can recall Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson.
It needs to be done. And again, it's nothing personal against her. She's just not right for the position at this time.
Jacobson filed this paperwork known as a recall charge against Wilson. This is the start of what could become a petition to recall Wilson from office. There are certain standards that have to be met, and you think you've met those standards.
I believe so. I did a lot of research on it.
Jacobson's petition accuses Wilson of dereliction of her duty as mayor. It cites the ongoing public safety issues on Aurora Avenue, as well as rampant drug use in Little Saigon, and Wilson's order to shut off public surveillance cameras in Pioneer Square. It also says the mayor failed the city by forcing out former Chief Sean Barnes just days after the Bite of Seattle shooting.
She's going to have people watching every move she makes, because it's not just me that's fed up. It's a number of citizens. It's a city council. They've gone on record, most of them.
But filing paperwork doesn't guarantee there will even be a recall petition. The prosecuting attorney's office will have to review Jacobson's charges and then refer them to a judge if they meet technical standards. You think that this petition can go through and actually remove her from office?
I hope that the district prosecutor, attorney that looks at it will understand. It's very, in my opinion, well laid out. It's time to admit that you're not right for the job. Resign quietly and let somebody else that knows how a city should run do the work. She's making us a laughingstock around the country.
In Seattle, Jeremy Harris.
Well, good luck, but Nicole, you think it's going to happen?
No, of course not. There are too many, weirdos on the bench there. But I do applaud her civic response, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of revolution. I'm not talking about go get your gun and go kill a bunch of Dems. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there's a way to unseat them. And the way we do that is at the ballot box. You have to be an informed voter. The people who voted for her, and you can tell this woman was one of them, is she was like, well, she's not the right person for the job right now. She's never going to be the right person for the job. Never. You're in the middle of a mass murder investigation and you fire the police chief? Really? Where is that done? You're trying to run Starbucks out of Seattle's? Is that what we're doing? You turn off the cameras and you have open air drug markets. Seattle's been wild and funky for a long time. I mean, it's not new. God bless her for keeping her head in the sand. It's not new. You've been a laughingstock for a very, very long time. But I applaud her civic, at least in her mind, duty to have this woman replaced. And again, she's very polite about it. Not at this time. It's like you're letting someone go that you actually like. You're a great fit, but not right now. She's not a fit at any point in time. She's not. She's just something wrong. There are not enough sandwiches in her picnic basket. She just doesn't.
Yeah. And Shelly, and I know you're above this, but to me, these, and I gotta say the female DSA candidates, the ones who have been elected, like this mayor in Seattle, these women are a bunch of some of the ugliest women that I've seen in a very long time. They're not ugly in the traditional sense. They're ugly in like the weird sense. They just look like somebody put something together, like a foreign put something together and threw it together and then came out this this woman. They always look androgynous, neurotic. I don't know. It's just who's bedding these women?
watch The Handmaid's Tale, and you can see all these women that look pretty much androgynous, and that is the goal. That's part of the, I don't know what you want to call it. That's part of the agenda. Okay, again, they don't want to say that there's two different sexes, and certainly not differences between sexes and all that stuff. So that's part of the agenda. But I mean, again,
another thing is a lot of them are gay, and I'm wondering who's eating that. Who is eating that?
I don't even want to think about it myself. I don't think about it. I don't think about it. I don't know. I don't even want to think about it. No, right? But so look,
I'm trying to have tacos for dinner, KJ. Stop playing with me, okay?
Exactly. Exactly, right. So, and I had fish yesterday, and listen, fresh fish from the ocean.
I'm just gonna have some honey crunches and just go to bed because I cannot.
Look. So, but this is the thing, though. I was thinking about this, and we're talking about like these policies and the consequences of them, right? And I think, Nicole, you used the word like the reality. Unfortunately, for most 99%, okay, I want to say 100%, but I'll say 99%. 99% of the time, socialist communists, they never come to the conclusion or the reality of their policies. They don't. They move it along. They try to reinvent it, AOC. They try to repackage it. They never face the reality of the damage, certainly, and as much damage, bloodshed of their policies. This is why these policies never go away. Unfortunately, it's also why people continue to vote for them. And then voila, they're waking up. People in New York, this lady in Seattle, these people in Seattle, they're looking like, well, what happened? That's not what we voted for. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You were just swooned. Again, Thomas Sowell talks about this in his book, The Vision of the Anointed. Okay. I would recommend you read that. It's a deep read, take some time, whatever. But he talks about this vision, and it's basically a clash of world views. The anointed are not just people who are wealthy. The anointed come from all these echelons: academia, media, politics, okay, bureaucracy. These people that the public has largely placed on a pedestal and in some way, I call it a twisted way, they think they're better. And for many people in the public, they think that they're better too. But they look down on us and think that we're just mindless imps. So it's a mismatch. I'm sorry. It's a mismatch. Certainly a clash of world views. And that's basically what it is.
Well said, Shelley.
Very good.
And speaking of this mixed match and this constant tug of war, we're seeing an intra-party tug of war battle with this. All right, as we talked about at the top of the show, with Hakeem Jeffries and AOC trying to pivot, trying to, because they see that this DSA, the socialist agenda, is not something that nationally American voters want. And so now the Democrats are forced to choose between ideology and results. Okay, so we have Mamdani, who's doubling down on democratic socialism. He feels it's the future of the party. You got AOC, who says, maybe don't judge us all about that crazy woke one stuff we said a few years ago. And then you have Jeffries, who came out and said the DSA agenda is not my agenda. But we know the real truth of it is these Democrats don't have they don't care. They want to do whatever will keep them in power. All right. Whatever will they think that the votes, they'll get the votes, that they can't cheat. So if they can't cheat their way to it, then they got to lie and say, okay, we're going to move this way, when in reality they're going to do something else. All right. And then we have Gretchen Whitmer. All right. She came out recently and praised President Trump. We're talking about Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer. She was on a podcast with Gavin Newsom and shocked the mess out of him when she praised President Trump for assistance with her agenda in Michigan to help auto workers. Take a look here. It's clip 3.
Second term, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I watched. I stumped for Kamala. You worked so hard. Yeah. We all worked really hard for the ticket.
Yeah.
And I woke up the next day thinking, my state voted for Donald Trump again.
Yeah.
And I got to figure out how to conduct myself here. You know,
Yeah.
after I tuned out for about a month.
Did you? Yeah.
I had to turn off all the social media.
Oh my gosh, right.
I watched 8 episodes of Dexter, or 8 seasons of Dexter.
You like that?
To cheer myself up.
I was going to get cheered up by Dexter. Jesus.
And then I came out of it. I thought, you know, I took an oath to the people of Michigan. I got 2 years left, and I got work to do. So
Yeah, open hand,
I wrote
not a
him a
close
note
fist.
after his inauguration. Watch his inauguration.
You wrote him a note. Wow. Did he respond to it?
He did. He called me. I put my number in it, and I said,
Wow.
Because in his inaugural speech, he said something about auto workers, and I thought, all right, there's my hook.
Opening.
Congratulations, you won the election. I noticed you talk about auto workers. If that's something you want to work on, you know, I'd love to work with you if you want to help the industry. Here's my number. And he called me.
Good conversation.
And then he called me a number of times since then. You know?
And you visited the White House a few
I
times.
did. Well, we've had, I mean, every state has had natural disasters and
I spent
climate
90
events
minutes with
and-
him in the Oval right after.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So many of it. I mean,
That's the job.
It's the damn job. And take the heat, right? You get it.
I worked hard to make sure he wasn't in the Oval Office,
Yeah.
but he was. And for Michigan, I got to try to show up.
And those are good meetings, right?
You know, I've gotten some really good stuff done. Honestly.
I mean, he
got
delivered for you guys.
I had a fighter
the
mission
right.
at Selfridge Air National Guard Base, and I tried to get that done under the Biden administration.
And they
Couldn't get it over the
couldn't
finish
move.
line.
Yeah.
But I got it done with him. So that's a huge deal to Michigan.
Yeah.
So even though I don't like it, I know how to work with people I'm not, you know, best friends with.
I get it.
To put it lightly.
I get it.
Nobody's giving you a cookie for that. Nobody.
Yeah.
We know what President Trump does. All right. So, but what I want to ask you, ladies. So, what does it say about the Democrat Party when one of its most successful swing state governors is working with President Trump and giving him credit for results, while the party's activist wing is telling Democrats to move even further towards socialism? Nicole, what are your thoughts?
So let's say the quiet part out loud. Gretchen, Michigan was going to get that auto worker stuff with or without you. As we clearly see, Trump doesn't need your permission, consent, or help to do anything for any of these United States. He is the chief executive of this entire nation, not just the Republican states, but every single state, every single territory. It's him. And as much as that hurts your little pea-picking heart, honey, it is what it is. Elections have consequences. And for you, Michigan won. Michigan won big. Not only did you get a more effective military base, right? A base that could have been rifted, absolutely could have been rifted, but you've got help for the auto industry. And by the way, those were things he talked about at the Republican convention before he was elected. He made those commitments then when the auto workers union showed up at the Republican convention. Do you remember she had that little meltdown because they showed up, because they came and they said, auto workers are not a monolith. Nobody owns our vote. Let's make a deal. And I can tell you, I was in the crowd. I was one of the people who went crazy. We went absolutely berserko because for my entire lifetime, they have been a vast Democrat solid block. You could bank on it and you could count on it. It was going to happen. They were going to vote Democrat. And here is their leader saying, not so fast. They've not been that good to us. This is what it means to have a president who's willing to work with anybody. Just as much as they think that she had to sit down with Satan, can I tell you that she was on the other foot? He looked into that grizzly mug of hers and said, you know what? I'm doing this for the people of Michigan. It's not for her. It's not for her. Who won't he work with to make sure that America is great again? When he's willing to sit down with those two people who actively called him filthy names, who actively supported people damaging his family and his family's businesses and reputations, who wished ill on his family. He sat down with them anyway. That's the mark of a good leader. He looked right past their evil and did what he needed to do. So while they think they're holding their noses, they ought to know they probably had the Oval fumigated when they left to make sure they didn't leave any of them Democrat germs behind. Make no mistake, Donald Trump is in for every single American, regardless of how you vote. Every single American has something to win with this president.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
let me translate what Gretchen said or didn't say. Basically, she reached out to Donald Trump, President Trump. Again, you're right, Nicole. He was not going to let that industry fail because she was ready to get reelected, and she needed her name tied to something so it can look like she was doing something for the people in her own state. Because it damn sure didn't happen under the what's his name? We forget
Sleepy
his
Joe.
name. Right. It didn't happen under, Scrappy from Scranton or whatever his name is. Okay. It damn sure didn't happen under him. So she latched on to Trump. That when her state certainly votes red. So she needed that for herself. This was nothing short of basically Gretchen ensuring up the vote for herself so that she can be reelected. That's all it was. That's all it was. So, whatever. I was listening to that and I said, granted, you should sit down, whatever governor you are, sit down with the president, even if it's not
Absolutely.
the president you voted for, because all of these are our 50 states. So that goes with the territory. But don't act like you were just going all out of your way and you want the creds or whatever. Bullshit, Gretchen. Bullshit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Folks, the lesson here is President Trump gets it done. He gets things done. And even if it means having to work with these slimy, no good people, he gets it done for the American people, just as you mentioned, but both of you mentioned. That's what it's all about. That's what it used to be about in, being an elected office in Congress, in the executive. You work across the aisle sometimes to get stuff done. But the Democrats have become the party of gridlock. They have become the party of passing it down the line, passing it on to the next generation. This is what they've become. Here in Maryland, they can't pass, if they try to pass a budget, but they're really passing it on to the next generation. This is what they do. They don't get things done. They don't create anything. And people, this is what we try to say, on this show all the time. Elections have consequences, and sometimes the consequences don't really show until the next generation or several years down the line. We got to wake up, folks. We have to wake up. All right. Because this is serious. This is serious.
Very serious.
Yeah. We have some super chatters here, I believe. Shelly, is that right?
Let's see. Josh. Hi, Josh. Hi, Josh. Thank you for your $20. Josh says, I'm so proud of this channel and the Pop family. I said this earlier in the chat, but this is the smartest show in all media at the moment. Thank you, Josh. Wow. You can't find thoughtfulness, objectivity, and spice like this anywhere else. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Heavy on the spice.
Right. Laura. Hi, Laura. Thank you for your $5. We love Laura so much. We got to say it twice. Absolutely. Hi, everybody. Shelly E. That wasn't me. I fell asleep and you called my name. I am Laura. We know who you are, Laura. And we called you twice. And then other lady's name was Laura. So, all right. So Laura, earlier, Laura, I said Laura, but I have to say Laura, because this is our Laura as well. Thank you. I'm glad you're feeling better. Laura says, Laura, I'm awake now. Okay, Laura, we got you.
Feel better, hon. Feel better.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, folks. This is time of year. A lot of people, sometimes get sick, and because we're about to change weather, change seasons. So definitely start up on your vitamin C, your echinacea, your elderberry. Already getting your system now because we're about to change seasons, and a lot of times people catch little bugs.
Fennel tea.
Yeah.
Get yourself some fennel tea. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Oil of oregano. I do that too. Trying to keep ourselves, build that immune system. All right, folks. Well, speaking of change of seasons, it's back to school season. All right, back to school season. And everybody wants to blame the teachers and the schools for the way these children are these days. But folks, take a look at this mess. This is clip 6.
Attitude. Oh, walk out. Oh, attitude. Oh, walk out.
in the streets from the government, nigga. You get robbed just like your favorite rapper if you don't tap in with them. They giving 10 years each. Hey! My shit say CDE. Hey!
Take a picture with the clipper.
Do I really have to?
You scared?
No.
Go take a picture with the clipper. Go shake. I love you. Have a good day.
Get away.
Bird, don't do that to her.
Okay.
Give her a hug.
Okay, I'll give kisses.
So that was just a part of that video. There's more. Producers, if you could get the other half of the mom has reacted. So the mom was the one taking the video and everything. And she has gotten, so the video has gone viral. She's gotten a lot of flack about allowing these children to, cuss. The little girl gave the finger. They're listening to, if you guys don't know, that's a rapper by the name of Pooh Shiesty, just got arrested. I believe he robbed somebody. He was in jail, came out, and then now he's back in jail again. And the song, of course, was inappropriate, but they're listening to this song. And the thing about it made me sad because those girls are pretty cute little girls. And they're being introduced to such degeneracy. Shelly, what are your thoughts?
I'm gonna tell you what my child told me the other day. We were out and it was this cute little girl. I think she's about 2, and she just kept looking at my daughter. Right? She kept looking at my daughter and like she was wanted to be friends with her. Okay, so she called over. And my daughter picked up, and she was just so tickled, and she kept speaking. And so when she went back to her father, the little girl, my daughter looked at me and she said, "You know what, mommy? Adults ruin kids. Mm-hmm. Adults ruin good kids." And I said, "You're absolutely correct." She said, "Children don't learn these kind of behaviors and all these isms and things like that. They just don't." I said, "You're right. If you look all across the world, children everywhere, you give them another child, they're going to find something to make a plaything out of it. They're going to laugh. They're going to be creative, give them some music. They're going to dance all over the world. It doesn't matter." But then you have people like this who literally ruin children from the get-go. That video there, and I've seen some other videos on this one. We've had the guy on our show. He posts a lot of this stuff, right? I think Andre
Williams.
He posts a lot of these types of videos. Now, I don't always agree with his commentary because it's not the children. It's not the children. Mm-hmm. But they are being ruined. They're literally being ruined. They're having their innocence, their humility, if you will, their built-in sense of compassion, of beauty, of being special. They're really having it just ripped out of them and just, balled up like trash. That's basically. And unfortunately, today it's many of the parents. It's the parents who are doing it, and then they're recording it and putting it all. I mean, why? I mean, it's a form of exploitation, abuse, and exploitation to me.
Yeah, we have it. The mom, she came out and responded to the backlash she's receiving. Before you comment, Nicole, producers have this, I believe, this backlash. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. I actually have it. 1 second here. Let me see here. All right. Here's the mom responding to the backlash she's received recently. Okay.
Life to call CPS. That was why bitch, CPS don't scare me, bitch. Walk, attitude. Ooh, walk.
We saw that.
Ooh, attitude. Matter of fact, I literally keep my door unlocked so they can just come in. They can just come in. What the fuck is y'all waiting on? The fuck? And make sure whatever CPS worker you call, they know how to fight. Cause coming to my shit, demanding shit, that's how you get your ass whooped. I don't even play with my granny like that. I don't even play with my granny. The door was wide open. Matter of fact, I literally keep my door unlocked so they can just come in.
So there she is. She's saying she drove with her kids without seat belts because they wanted to be gangster. while they're listening to this rapper Pooh Shiesty. This is the mother. Then we wonder why these children are out here acting the way that they're acting. Yeah. Nicole, your thoughts?
You know, children are born with this inherent sense of joy, right? There's nothing like, you could be having the roughest day, but you hear a toddler or a baby giggle, it just does something to your spirit. Their joy is contagious. There are some people in this world whose demons are so large that they crush that joy. They crush that joy. They take all the wonder and the merriment out of childhood. You're telling elementary school kids, give me attitude. Now, you can tell that's for their mother, because when they get to school, they're scared to death of Clifford the Big Red Dog. If you've ever seen little kids at a Chuck E. Cheese, they'll be partying their faces off. That big mouse comes walking in there and kids go screaming, right? They're terrified. These kids are at school and you see them tone that all the way down because the adults at that school have set expectations. The problem is there's one set of expectations at school, another set of expectations at home, and these children get lost in that shuffle. They get lost in the shuffle. Now, this mother has firmly ensconced herself in a particular culture. I don't call it Black culture because I've been Black my whole life and that ain't never been the culture that I followed. That particular culture dictates that they continue to breed young women and young men into that culture. I'd like to kill that culture. I'd like to stomp it out, eradicate it, cut it out like a cancer, treat it with radiation to make sure it never grows back. Because what she's doing to these two girls is every time she's teaching them to be disrespectful, every time she's teaching them to have an attitude that ain't gratitude, there's a problem, because they're not going to learn problem solving skills, right? They're going to learn if somebody says something to you, you argue with them. They're going to see this video of their mother in her lobster t-shirt talking trash, looks like pajamas, talking trash and cussing people out. My kids ain't got to wear a seatbelt when they're listening to Pooh Shiesty before they go to school in the morning.
And she was cussing while they were in the car too.
Well, listen, she don't care enough to put the baby in a car seat.
Back on the pavement.
All it takes is somebody to accidentally rear end her, and there's going to be some carnage, right? She'll be the first one suing, the first one all over the internet with a GoFundMe. This is the problem that we have with this particular culture. How do we change this culture? People have said we need to go to a 12-month school year where kids go to school all year long. Now, I am vehemently opposed to that, because the best thing about school is when you don't have to go. Let's do that. Summer break, Christmas break, Easter break, those things are important. But imagine having all of the joy snatched out of your life because your mother doesn't have any joy. Imagine being the next generation of what their mother is. Not happy, but here, angry, bitter, belligerent, careless, reckless. At this point, she's talking about CPS knocking on her door. Oh, the door is wide open. Every damn pedophile in the neighborhood didn't hurt you. Well, where's your sense of protection for your children? I get that you've given your life away, but where's your sense of protection for those kids? They don't matter. They don't matter at all. So take those attitudes and those middle fingers, and they'll keep that for you. Hopefully, when they're in school, they'll learn to conduct themselves in a civilized and more cultured way.
Right.
Hoping, praying.
There's no fixing that. There is no fixing that. That is, it used to be a day and time when there were people, who just didn't know. They just didn't know the right thing to do. They didn't have, it wasn't a matter of just being nasty and it was just, you just didn't know what to do. You didn't know how to present yourself. But this is a combination of just of ignorance, of belligerence, and just nasty. And you can't even tell her anything. It used to be a time where, now we have social media. So you post something like this and you see the backlash you're getting. You see people saying that's not the right way. And you would think, well, maybe I need to rethink this. No, they double down. Folks, there's no way to fix this. With that, at least, there is no way to fix that. All right. But what I want to ask you, ladies.
I want to ask you, don't ask me. Don't ask. I
Oh.
want to see if you have the same question.
Oh,
I want to know who impregnated her with that little boy.
Oh
The
no.
1-year-old or the 2. Okay.
Oh no, I wasn't going to ask that, but that's a good question. That's a good question. No, I want to know, do you think this type of behavior is on the rise, or do you think social media has allowed us to see more of it? Shelly, what are your thoughts there?
I've been asking that question a few times, even with some of our guests. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's some of both. Of course, we know social media. Everybody thinks everything belongs on social media, things like that. But because we are in a society now, particularly in the Black community, unfortunately, where we have 70+% of our mothers, single mothers raising children. Okay, no fathers in the home, not married to the mother of their children. So there's a combination of things. The schools, the policies tend to be more lax than they are strict now. So the police can't do anything with them. Children can do no wrong. You can't correct the parents, like you said. So I think it's both. Unfortunately, social media is there to just highlight it and show it and blast it as if it's some kind of accolade just because you see your face on the camera. So
yeah, Nicole, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's both, or you think it's one over the other?
No, I think we've got about the same amount of ratchetness we've always had. The thing is that now the world is much smaller. So an image can fly around the world in less than 1 minute. I mean, and everybody gets to see that. And people value being viral. They value that viral moment. Everybody's trying to get to that top notch. You remember that one time when y'all was in elementary school and I made y'all go viral? You can hear their mother saying that, right? The problem is, you're going viral for the wrong thing. I will tell you, I will never forget them 3 little boys robbing that Walgreens in their pajamas. I could live to be 150 and I'm going to have that image as an auntie to 19 nephews. I can tell y'all that hurt my soul to see those little kids thinking not only were they doing the right thing, but shame on you for telling us we ain't doing the right thing. And so what? We're effeminate like our sister. And so what? There's no men in our life that's showing us the right way. No one is mentoring us. These young girls, there were a lot of people who had a lot to say about how they're going to end up. Pregnant, locked up.
Oh yeah, I saw it. It was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, people went in on these little girls. And I will say this again, children are born joyful. They are. And it's not too late to turn it around. It really isn't. It's only going to take 1 or 2 really great teachers to impress upon them that there's a different way to do things. A mentor that's going to show them a different way. Now, the mother's going to fight them tooth and nail because, if you're bumping Pooh Shiesty at 8 a.m., there's some issues in your life. I'm just going to say that. There's some issues in your life. I don't wish these little girls any ill will. I pray to God that somebody impacts their lives in a positive way so that we don't continue to perpetuate this trash ass culture. However, this mother's right to raise her children as trifling as she wants to, I'm going to tell you, it is her divine right to act the damn fool. But CPS, you got a job to do. She gave you an open invitation to come to her home and see what it's like. Somebody should take her up on that. Some parenting classes, something needs to be in order. I'm not saying that she has to, change every single thing about her life. If she wants to be that type of person herself, that's on her. But do not infect your children with that foolishness. Because that little boy, he's got a life coming, doesn't he? He's got a life coming.
He's going to be the really one because the boys are something. We have a super chatter here though. Let's see here.
We have God is King. Thank you for, I think this may be your first time or second time, but thank you for joining us for your $25. Thank you, ladies. We love watching your show. You're always 100% spot on. God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. God bless
you. Yes.
The Voice of Reason. Thank you for your $10. This is a recent cultural issue. If you look at videos of Black people in the 70s and 80s, all of them spoke proper English. No men had their pants sagging, and no women are wearing whole uniforms. Yeah. The voice of reason, Shelly E. That was supposed to say,
Whore. I knew what he was trying to say.
Got it. Okay, got it. Yeah, you're right. You know what? I've said before that some prayers I'm just not wasting on. Sometimes I see some things on young people doing. I'm not wasting my prayers on them. However, these young girls and the young people, they do have a chance because they're young enough to still be have their mind, I guess, their mind reformed. They are young enough. The problem is, like you said, Nicole, the mom or wherever the dad may be, right? So it's going to take someone, I would say, a ministry, a church ministry, someone who has a family ministry, if you will, focus, where they will have the time to invest, literally invest, not just going in there correcting and, calling out. They have to invest in that. They have to invest in that mother. They got it because you're not getting to the children through the parent. I mean, unless the parent is going to let you. So
she's leaving the door unlocked. Somebody go get
that's true. That's true.
That woman won't. I mean, again, I say, I agree. There are some that can be saved, that can be invested in. But that woman, there's nothing open about her. She believes what she's doing. She's nasty. She's ignorant. She's belligerent. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to penetrate that. But this is what we see all day long. And this is why I'm telling you, that's why I asked the question, is it something we're seeing more of, or do we think it's a surge in this type of behavior, or is it social media is amplifying it? Whichever one it is, most of it is Black folks we're seeing. So what, is Black folks the only ones with social media? I mean, again, you do see it across races, but most of it are Black women raising these children and raising them on right to hell.
Yeah.
Right to hell.
I think that's the clickbait part of it. Again, I do believe social media has a part. I believe that these incidents, if you will, because of some of the social pathologies, if you will, in our community in particular. But I do think there's
when you say social pathologies, do you mean like our community encourages this? What do you mean by?
I'm saying like the fatherlessness, right?
Oh, I see. Okay.
So at the high rates of that, right? There are high rates of fatherless. They've been up across the board for many communities, but the Black people, it's exponential. It's really surpassed even the high whatever. And it also affects us because we are largely at the lower end of the SES scale on many factors. So it affects us even that much more. Now, having said that, I do think the social media clickbait part publishes, if you will, or promotes what we see of, and so that just for the clickbait, it's a vicious cycle.
And the thing is, but the thing that's scary to me, and I think this is where social media plays a big role in this, a big part in this, is now we're seeing not people on the lower socioeconomic end of the scale emulate this bad behavior. It's becoming like trendy to do this. You're seeing white women, white girls take on this sort of ghetto mentality, this ghetto behavior with the nails. Now you got some white women wearing the weaves and stuff, the wigs, the eyelashes. But it's not just white. Even ones that are in a better two-parent household, they are starting to take on
exactly
this. It's becoming a cultural phenomenon. It really has. Because I will tell you today, when I went to Chipotle to go get the dinner that I'm not going to eat, since KJ's who's going to eat them comment. But I will say there were three Hispanic women, Tacoma, largely Hispanic, walking with their slippers on, their pajama pants, and bonnets in Tacoma Park in 99-degree heat. It's like, girl, first of all, I know you smell like roast beef left out in the sun. Come on now. It's 90 degrees and you got on felt pants and a damn bonnet. Come on. And you know what the boys
are wearing the bonnets now too. That really makes me sick.
The community walked right past them like they weren't even standing there. They're not giving them the time of day. But what ends up happening is this becomes the new normal. Mm-hmm. This becomes the new normal. I mean, I still remember having a very distinct conversation with my father, God rest his soul. I went through a phase where I didn't wear anything but black. I had my own job, bought my own clothes. I was like 16. Everything was black. I just blacked everything, just black. Until one day I came home and there were no clothes in the closet.
Oh.
I said, what happened to my clothes? And he was like, oh, you mean the black? Yeah, not in my house. What am I supposed to wear? You know, all the hysterics. And he said, color. You can wear color, but what you may not wear is black. And he meant it. And when I say he meant it from his soul. So I had to call my cousins, like, hey, can I borrow some clothes? Because this and this and this happened. And they were like, yeah, Uncle Sports, my dad's nickname. Uncle Sports said he was going to, if you had one more time to wear black, he was throwing all your stuff away. And I mean, everything went in the trash and dared me to go pick it out. Dared me. I thought about it. Was it worth, with a beat down and being on punishment for a year? No. I learned to wear color. He was not going to allow me to break what our community standard was for me searching to be individualistic. He was not going to allow that. I thank him every single day for all the things that he taught me in this life. Yeah. All the things he taught me in this life.
Again, I want to just add, I think we forget this. We talked about socialism. I think we forget this, that up and down this socioeconomic ladder or pyramid or however you want to shape it, culture goes up and down. Historically, we had the people at the top, like, the professors and the politicians, the people that we can look up to, the pastors, things like that. They would set a higher standard that the rest of us had to elevate towards. Now it's no such thing. Not only this vision of the anointed, are they pushing down horrible policies, horrible cultural norms, if you will. The bottom people they're getting elevated. Their low standards, they're getting elevated. And again, this clash again, such that the normies, typically in the middle, they're trying to phase us out, push us out, because they're trying to do everything. If you say something, what is it? You're racist, you're sexist, you're homophobic, and all these things. So they're trying to label us and beat us with the label so that we'll be quiet. But no, we still can't. And we still need to push those debauchery, if you will, those degrading cultures back down, and then change the attitudes, this mindset from the elite or the anointed, and say, no, we're not going to accept yours either. We're not going to accept that either, coming down the chain. So again, it's this idea of this social contract is what I think I wrote down in my notes. This idea of the social contract, it's all broken. It's all broken.
It's all over the place. Do you remember when the boys were wearing the little 3/4 zips? What was that, last year? Maybe last fall? And they caught so much flack from the lower class kids. They caught so much flack. You're trying to be white. You're appropriating the culture. And the main people saying that had $150 worth of somebody else's hair sewn into their head, blonde hair, eyelashes that didn't belong on any human being, talking about how they were appropriating culture because they wore a sweater with a 3/4 zip.
Folks, it's not about the socioeconomics, because we know, I think Reason mentioned, back in the day, even if you didn't have a pot to piss in, if you were poor, there was still a high likelihood that you were respectable. Okay, that you whatever you had, you put it together as best you could. All right, your socioeconomic position did not necessarily make a difference in the way you treated yourself, other people, the way you held yourself. It didn't. It didn't. But nowadays, it's this ghetto mentality. It's disrespectful. It's stupid. It's all worshipped. It's all put like it's something. And this is the issue here. Back in the day, you had people who would do things like this, and they would be put out of society. They would be put out of the cookout, So in other words, now these people are lauded. They're lauded. They're given reality shows. They're making millions of dollars. Okay. And it's all upside down. It's all upside down. So, folks, but this is why we're here, because we are still going to call it out. No matter what people call us, you can call us coons, you can call us racist, you'd say we're racist, xenophobic, whatever, self-hating. We're going to call it out, okay? We're going to still call it out because we have not only a country to save, but a community to save.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Well
We have
said,
some
KJ.
super chatters there.
All righty. Laura's back again. Laura says, being biracial in 1960s, my mother would have knocked my teeth out of my head if I cussed like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Respect. Yep. Sweet Caroline, I like that. Thank you. I'm a teacher, and this is so common. It's sick. Caroline, why do I have this? I have a song in my head. I can't place it, but it's a song. Isn't there a song called Sweet Caroline or something Caroline? A country song?
Yes, Sweet Caroline.
I couldn't get the melody. I knew it was okay. I couldn't get the melody, but thank you, Sweet Caroline. All right, Jude. Thank you, Jude, for your $5. On another note, KJ, I'm flattered that you copied my name and named yourself a variation of it. I'm known as JJ at home.
JJ KJ.
Thank you, Jude. Thank you for that. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe, and that notification bell before you leave here tonight.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, folks. We'll be back on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. same time. So please, if you haven't done so already, hit that like button before you leave and subscribe. Also, come back to this episode in about an hour or so. Give it some time, and you can hit the hype button, and that also gets this video out in front of a wider audience. All right.
Hold on, KJ.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, I got a little PSA. Now, I go back and watch some of these because y'all know I was off of work for a little while with the foot. Don't even bring it up. But there are a lot of people in the comments, a ton who leave wonderful comments, but you're not subscribed to the channel.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing with your life? Hit the subscribe button. It's not going to cost you nothing. It won't cost you one thing, and it is a wonderful way to support the channel. Okay, you're already subscribed, you already liked, you already hyped. I'm gonna need you to get you some merch. Okay, I need you to get some merch. You got to get this. And A250 is not over. Just because the summer is coming to an end, it is not over. This is an epic. All of the fall sports are about to start. We got the NFL, the NHL. We're coming to the great October days with American League Baseball. Shout out to the American League. Shout out to the National League, you bunch of bums. But I will say this. The fall sports are really starting to heat up, and they too are going to be celebrating A250. It is not too late. It is not too late to get your merch. This America's 250th anniversary is something we're celebrating and commemorating. Get a shirt for you to wear, be cute in, maybe, put some sleeves under it when the weather turns a little chilly, but also get a shirt to put away. So you can talk to your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren about what America was like, because two things are going to happen. One, the world is going to remember Donald Trump very fondly. He's not, everybody's cup of tea right and through here, but time will tell, right? Time will tell. And secondly, they're going to say, what happened during America's 250th anniversary? You were alive. What did you do? You can pull out your t-shirt and be like, listen, there was this show called Poppin' Politics. And every episode, she told me I needed to get you the shirt. Here's the shirt. Here is the shirt. So this is a great time to do this for yourself and your family. But for those of you who watch us, who like, who make comments, I need you to subscribe, because of all those people who are, I'm liking your comments and engaging with you. If you all have subscribed, we would reach 250,000 by now. We would be there. So help us out. Give us a little bit of subscribe, go back, like, come back later, hype, buy some merch, and make our day. It would be wonderful if you guys could help us out that way.
All right. Absolutely. Well, you all have a... Well, wait a minute now.
John?
We just got another super chat, it looks like. Oh my gosh.
We got Josh here. Josh. Thank you, Josh.
Wait, where's my...
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Josh. All right, thank you, Josh. He says, "Happy Monday, Pop family. Get the merch." All right, everybody out there,
Yes,
you all
thank
have no
you.
excuse. You have no excuse. Number one, hit that like, share, and subscribe, and the notification bell. Number two, when this show goes off the air, hit that hype button. Number three, go back and hype some more videos, some of our old videos. And number four, get the merch. Go to our YouTube page and you can scroll over to the tab that says store or shop and shop until your heart is content. Thank you, Josh. You're always so supportive. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you really are. Thank you so much. You guys don't really understand how much we appreciate this. We really do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you all. We'll be back on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. See you then. What? Oh.
We forgot to hype our show.